Joy here with Firehouse Education and this week's Ask Annissa video column. And this week, our question comes in from Jim and Karen from Southern Recovery and Environmental Services. And the question is, hey Annissa, we had a request to quote a house that has years of cigarette smoke in it. What is your recommendation and how would you handle this? Okay, well, a couple things. I'm assuming when you're asking me how would you handle this is not just the quote, but maybe how to complete the work. So we'll talk about both of those. As far as a quote goes, definitely when we're dealing with years of cigarette smoke, it can be, it can be very involved and a bit intense on the cleaning. So it is going to have to be a thorough cleaning of the entire structure. And I'm going to talk about structure and contents because I'm not sure if there's contents in the structure or not, or we're just dealing with the structure. So we'll just discuss both here. So as far as estimating, you're going to have to sketch the whole house so that you're able to put that into, like, say, Xactimate, which I believe is what you guys are using for your pricing. And then you're going to want to do a heavy clean on all of those surfaces because it definitely is aggressive work depending on how much, how extensive the cigarette smoke damage is. Sometimes I'm able to do that with just using my wall wash that I love so much. And I will put a link to that down below the video here. But the regular wall wash with adding the maximum amount of 99 to it for deodorization can sometimes work. The other thing is if it's really bad, you may actually have to use degreasol to really cut through that cigarette smoke that would be on the walls. And after using degreasol, you always have to paint. When you use wall wash, you don't always have to paint. However, if this is been smoked in for years house, you're probably going to be dealing with painting, if nothing else, to hide staining, right? The cigarette smoke will stain the walls and such. So the other thing that I would be doing ASAP as soon as I start this job is running hydroxyl. The hydroxyl will take care of the odor, period. It won't obviously remove the residue off the walls. That's why we have to do the cleaning, but it will definitely take care of the odor. The hydroxyl is amazing with that. I've used it many times on many jobs. Now, when you're also dealing with contents as well as structure, you have to remember that all soft items have got to be laundered. So whether you're dealing with drapes, curtains, any clothing, all has to be laundered because that is very, very absorbent, the fabric is, for the odor. The other thing is any soft upholstery will need to be cleaned, as well as any carpeting, because those things will really absorb the odor and hold it in as well. And when you're dealing with the contents, if there's anything that they're willing to get rid of in the way of paper goods, cardboard, that sort of thing, then absolutely those have to go. And whether or not they're willing to get rid of them or not, they really need to go. So you need to convince the homeowner of that. So there's obviously going to be some cost involved to, dispose of those items. So definitely on the estimate, I would estimate, like I said, a heavy clean. And then, of course, you're going to want to make sure that you're charging for running that hydroxyl each day. I think it's like $2.50 a day for the hydroxyl. The other thing that you may want to do is also run some HEPA air scrubbers in there while you're doing that cleaning. I've done that as well. So you wouldn't want to forget to put that in there. So when you're dealing with things like washing cabinetry too, I want to just kind of talk about that for a second in a structure. You can use, there's a lot of different varieties of products you can use. You could do a wood cream. You can do just a basic mild degreaser on them. If it's really, really bad in a kitchen where oftentimes there's grease on top of the cigarette smoke, you might really need to get aggressive with that wood cream and possibly even doing something like a TSP type product that you would want to use on the cabinetry. But anyway, definitely a little bit tricky when it comes to estimating these. Don't cut yourself short. But definitely, I would tell you to plan on using hydroxyl. And depending on the size of the house, you may need to use a couple of those running at the same time. But definitely run them while you're doing the cleaning because they will be deodorizing at the same time. And by the way, here's a little caveat. If we have contents in the structure, I would definitely deal with those contents and get them clean, possibly remove them if you can from the structure, maybe into a garage area or something, and then clean the entire structure itself, so that you're not, you're not doing any kind of cross contamination. And then once you know that your structure is good and odor free and signed off by your owner, then you can bring in the contents back in, so that if there is a problem still with some odor in the contents, you'll be able to know that, hey, it's not the structure, we're actually dealing with the contents. Another thing I want to mention is you're going to want to potentially replace certain things, like a hot water tank insulation blanket. Could really be absorbent with the odor as well. And of course, cleaning ducts in a house, the HVAC system is going to be huge, and changing out any filters that are on the house's HVAC system. Okay, well, Karen and Jim, I hope that really helped you. If you guys have any other questions, you have my number, and my email. Be sure and contact me, and I'd be happy to help you walk through the job if need be. And I thank you so much for the question. Please be sure, if you are not already subscribed to Firehouse Education's YouTube channel, I would really appreciate you hopping on over to YouTube and doing that. And be sure and hit the like button on this video if you found this valuable. That really helps my videos be seen in search results on YouTube. And give me a comment. Have you ever had experience with cleaning a difficult cigarette smoke odor cleaning job? And let me know what things that you have found to work, and maybe even what you tried and didn't work. I always like to hear those things too. So on that note, thank you so much. Be sure and keep the questions rolling, and I will see you on next week's Ask Annissa video follow-up.